After 2 weeks and more than 1,300 kilometers traveling along the former inner German border, Anne-Kathrin stops in Mödlareuth. Half the village is in Thüringen and the other half in Bavaria. Before German reunification, it was divided in two. Now the border there is a memorial site.
5 years after the wall was built in Berlin, the GDR also put a wall up here, dividing the village into east and west. Americans therefore call this place here Little Berlin, whereas we are focusing on the little here because Mödlareuth has only 50 inhabitants.
The village's tragic history attracts up to 60,000 visitors a year. Ronald Schricker grew up in East Germany and works in Mödlareuth's museum, which tells the story of the village's divided past.
How did this wall change the life of the people here?
The
wall invaded our lives by separating families. Cousins were split up, 2 brothers in one instance. It wasn't possible to visit, wave at, or approach someone on the other side of Mödlareuth. On the western side, you could call over to East Germany, and you could wave too, but that wasn't allowed in the east.
During the decades of German division, Karin Mergner lived on the western side of Mödlareuth. Photos depict scenes the day the wall opened, marking the first time residents could visit the other side of town in 37 years.
And what was it like when the wall fell finally here in this village?
The
atmosphere was great. We didn't know each other, but everyone just hugged one another. It's the same way today when people see each other. We're just happy that things are the way they are now.
A month after the fall of the wall in Berlin, Mödlareuth celebrated the opening of its own border. Initially, there was just one open gate between east and west. But 6 months later, the wall was finally torn down. Mödlareuth was once again a complete village. One segment of that wall is still standing, but as a memorial. The border region cuts through the middle of the Saale River, just a few kilometers away. Crossing the river from east to west, once a potentially deadly undertaking, is now relatively safe. Michael Wilfert, an outdoor adventure instructor, demonstrates how to build a working raft out of boards and tires.
So which borders are you basically trying to open with this?
The geographical one on the one hand, between Thüringen and Bavaria. But also, as we often have children and young people participating, they have the opportunity to overcome a psychological barrier by learning to talk with each other and working as a team.
Did I do this right?
No.
After retying the knots, it's time to cross the Saale.
Links oder so?
But it takes a lot of teamwork.
Alle drauf? Okay, jetzt ziehen. Jetzt fahren wir einmal bis ganz drüben hin, ja? Super.
After a few minutes, they reach the other side. It's a distance of just a few meters, but it was impassable before 1989. Now it's off along the green belt to the southernmost point of the east-west divide, on the border with the Czech Republic.
I've driven almost 1,400 kilometers along the former inner German border, and this area used to be called Death Strip, and now it's a lifeline. 20 years after the wall came down, this tour was for me one of the nicest and most interesting ways to experience the united Germany.
Nowadays, a trip along the former east-west divide is a scenic journey through German history. Anne-Kathrin can certainly vouch for the fact that, after decades of division, this has become a blossoming border.